In one of the recent episodes of Gilbert Arenas and his panel had a discussion about why the defense isn't as good today. And this was his response.
I know what they can do. Get rid of all the Europeans.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now, I'm going to play more of the clip later on in the show, but wow, that is nuts to me to say that the Euros are to blame for the defense slipping today. He even went into saying that, they lack athleticism, which I don't understand when you have a guy like Victor Wembanyama, you have a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, it does make sense when he's talking about the 2000s because a guy like Hedo Turkoglu, Dirk Nowitzki were not the most athletic guys, but they were very crafty with their offense and could get buckets for days. Another thing he said was that they shoot a lot of threes because if you go play in the EuroLeague, you have a shorter three-point line. They play more zone, which he's right about. He's not wrong on those statements. But he lost me with the whole, the Euros need to be banned. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we trying to place, a certain group of people and say, you're the cause of the defense slipping today? That is insane. Now I'm going to go ahead and play the rest of the clip, and I'll come back and give you more of my thoughts.
You go to college to learn defense.
Yeah.
What college do Europeans go to?
I'm with you now. I didn't say
Right?
get rid
They
of
don't
them
go to
altogether
college
because of special talent.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
They have no athleticism.
Give some
They
come
have
over.
no athleticism.
They all come over and go
Hold
to
on.
Arizona.
They have no athleticism, right? They have no speed, no jumping ability. They are a liability on defense. There's 150 Euros in the league today. Name the top 10 defenders.
Yeah,
None.
I'm with
right? Just the Rudy Gobert and Greek the Freak. Other than that, they're just offensive players. They're not defensive players, right? So the NBA took away aggression. They took away aggression to open up the Euro League. When they first started getting here, it was too rough for them.
And they didn't make it.
They didn't make it, right? So eventually, they softened the rules. They didn't soften the rules for the Americans. They softened the rules to open it up international.
Yeah.
So when they're saying the Euros is going to run the league in the next 5 years, why do you think that? More threes, passing, cutting. This is not our league. This is not the American style. This is the Euro style.
So-
Drive in, suck the defense in, pass the ball to the three-point line. It's a three-point shooting league because they're copying Euro style. Suns, right? What was the biggest thing the Suns didn't do? Defense.
100%.
Ole, let's score. Boom,
100%.
let's go.
Yeah,
Let's-
it is.
Yep.
7 seconds.
Right?
7
Now-
seconds.
7 seconds.
Now everybody,
7 seconds.
Then Tony.
we don't want to
Yeah.
foul, so we can go try to score.
Yeah.
That was the whole
We're gonna
thing of
outscore you.
Dan Tony.
Yep.
Right? That is what the league was created off of, to have more of those guys in so they can expand the business.
Make it a global game.
So
Global game.
you remember pushing global game. How they gonna have a global game if it's too physical and too athletic for them? So they have to figure out ways where they can exist inside of the game.
Wow.
Right? Create more opportunities, bring in more shooters so they can survive. So these guys can become shooters.
Okay. Let's go a little bit deeper into this. Let's look at players under the age of 26. We're going to go with American players first. Let's start with Paulo Banchero, a great guy, 20 years old. He is on the ascending rise. He's going to be, a future superstar in the making, and he's only 20 years old. You got a guy like Ant-Man, who is unbelievable, has the Timberwolves in the 3rd seed right now, and Ant-Man is a phenomenal basketball player. This man is scary, and he's only going to get better as a player. Then you got a guy like John Morant. Now, I know he's had his troubles off the court. He had his injury, unfortunately, after coming back, and he was taken off. It looked like the Grizzlies were going to make a push for the play-in, but he's another, up-and-coming star. You have a guy like LaMelo Ball. He's had his injuries, but when he's played, he's been fantastic. Got a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, who came on the scene this year, especially in the play-in tournament, really took the league by storm. And, he's had his hamstring issues, but I believe Halliburton's on the rise as well. You got a guy like Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, Tyrese Maxey, most improved player, in my opinion, this year. Got a guy like Chet Holmgren. Zion Williamson, I know he's had his injuries in the past, but it looks like he's starting to round into shape, and we'll see how he progresses throughout the rest of his career. You got a guy like Brandon Miller, who I am very impressed by as a rookie. Jaren Jackson Jr., excellent on defense. And then you got Anthony Simons, who doesn't get talked about enough because he's playing for the Blazers. And then you got Cade Cunningham. Unfortunately, he's on the Detroit Pistons, but a guy you can't sleep on. Jalen Williams and Darius Garland. Now that's a big list of American players. Now let's go to the Euro side. You have Luka Doncic, you have Victor Wembanyama, you have Sengun, who I I think is going to be a phenomenal big guy and an ascending player. And then you have a guy, Franz Wagner. Now, when you compare that crop of players to the American talent, what are we doing here? Right? How can we blame these guys for ruining the defense? That is nuts to me. And the reason why I bring this list up, because Gilbert Arenas said this himself in a previous episode. He was like, man, our future is good. So why are we blaming the Euros when it's clear to me that we have an abundance of talent? See, what people are missing when it comes to the international dominance that has been going on with the MVPs and Giannis won a championship in 2021, Jokic won in 2023 is Jokic, Giannis, Embiid are all in their prime, right? They are in their prime years. That's why you're seeing them win MVPs. Usually what happens is when players start to win a string of MVPs, they are in their prime years. We saw this in LeBron prime. We saw this in Curry's prime. And now we're seeing it with these guys. A guy like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron and Kawhi, they are going past their primes. And the guys coming up are still under 27 years old. So we don't know what their game is going to look like by the time they're 27. Jason Tatum is only 25 years old. Ant-Man is only 23 years old. And LaMelo Ball is 23 years old, I believe. So these guys haven't even hit their prime yet. So, of course, the gap looks bigger with the Euros and the international players because you have got the American players that are still getting better, right? Now, a guy like SGA, he's not a Euro guy. He's an international player, is a phenomenal superstar. And he's only going to get better. It's his second, I would say, great season of coming onto the scene. He's showing me that he's going to end up being a top 10 player. Now, I do want to get into the three-point shooting because this man, Gilbert Arenas, says, well, they shoot all these threes and they should ban the Euros. Well, let's look at the players who are attempting the most threes. I'm going to go through the list. It's going to be pretty nasty. Stephen Curry, American player. Luka Doncic. Donovan Mitchell, American player. Trae Young, American player. Klay Thompson, American player. Damian Lillard, American player. Jason Tatum, American player. Bogdan Bogdanovic, European player. Paul George, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dante DiVincenzo, Tyrese Maxey, Lauri Markkanen, CJ McCollum, Fred VanVleet, Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox, Kobe White, Buddy Hield, Max Strus. You get the picture. A lot of the guys attempting more threes are from America. So to blame the Euros for the lack of defense is ridiculous to me. We should be appreciating the era we're in. We have a walking triple-double with Jokic. We have a guy in Giannis Antetokounmpo who I think has some offensive limitations, but when he's driving to the lane and getting in the paint, he's unstoppable. Now, he could be better at the free throw line, but at the end of the day, he's great in the paint and great in the post defense. And then you have a guy like Victor Wembanyama, who is going to be an amazing superstar. I mean, this guy at 19 years old is averaging a double-double already. And then you have a guy like Luka Doncic, who said in a JJ Redick podcast that I can get whatever shot I want. I really can, and it's easier to score in the NBA. Now, again, that's confidence, and I love it. And Luka is a phenomenal talent. The guy can just get buckets for days and still drop a triple-double at the same time. So, again, I think we need to appreciate these guys. Joel Embiid, now I know he's not a Euro player, but he was on his way to winning back-to-back MVPs. That's how good he was this year. The man was averaging 6 assists this year. It was insane what he was doing before the injury came, unfortunately. And, of course, I just think we just got to look at these guys from a perspective of, okay, we've got great talent in the Euro. We shouldn't be threatened by them. We should embrace them. And to say, Gilbert had a good point, like I said, about, the 2000s guys, they weren't great defensively, which is true. But now we have a guy like Giannis and Rudy Gobert who can play defense, right? Now, on the perimeter side of things, they don't have a lot of depth, right? They don't have a lot of star power. Most of their star power comes from their bigs. But to want to ban them is ridiculous and absolutely insane. The reality is the Euros are here to stay, and they're only going to get better. And if we have another athletic guard that comes into the league and becomes a superstar, well, good. We got competition. And we'll see what the Olympics looks like because the USA has been winning gold medals since 2008. So I don't understand why we're making a big fuss about the Euros. I just think that's ridiculous, and they deserve their love and flowers and just give them their props. Everybody has a different era that you go through. You have the Kobe, Duncan, Shaq era. Then you had the LeBron and Curry era. Now we're in the European era. That's fine. I don't see a big deal. Let them play. Let them get better as basketball players and just enjoy it for what it is. To say they've ruined the league is a bit much, especially when I just listed off a bunch of players on the American side who attempt a lot of three-pointers. And a few of them are from the European side of things. So to say they should be banned when the American players are also responsible is ridiculous. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Love to hear your thoughts on what Gilbert Arenas had to say about banning European players. And I'll see you in the next one.